juice. But I thought you knew what I meant.
Oh, we're live now.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, Linus, we can start by saying who do you think does it more? Or not even does it more, who do you think is better at it?
No, let's start with who does it more.
Woman.
Men.
No, I don't. If we're being honest, the thing is, the thing is with men.
It's hard to like statistically prove that men or women do it more when women are notorious for not, for going undetected.
No, the thing is, woman does it a lot more. We get caught a lot more.
You sure about that?
100%. We get caught a lot more,
Have
but
you have the
woman does
stats
it.
on that?
It is. It's all facts. It's all
Where's
facts.
your references?
I don't need reference. I just know. As a man, I know like 90% of women in relationship cheat at least once.
And men have done the same.
Not we do, but not to the same extent that you guys does it. And the thing
I
is with
mean,
men, the
I
thing is with the thing is with men, most of the time we do it, it's more of a sexual act. Women, they get emotionally involved. It's more than just sex to you guys.
get off. That's true. But are we talking about just cheating or are we talking about the physical and emotional attachment that
Both
comes
of
with
them.
it?
Both of them.
Well, if you're talking
Because,
emotional, yes,
because
women do get emotionally involved, by the way. Um,
yes, but what you need to understand is it's not just you guys get emotionally involved. For you guys to cheat, before you guys get to that point where you guys cheat, you guys already emotionally feeling that person.
Because
To us, it can just be a one night thing, but women, it's very hard for it to be a one night thing.
yeah, because as a man, we don't have to have a feeling for somebody though, like to just do
Yeah.
it. But
Okay, let me ask you this: would you just go sleep with a man just to sleep with him?
she's a mute.
Huh?
hold on, I have background noise. Hold on.
And the thing is, you can tell she knows the truth. She just won't admit it, which
No,
is
sorry,
okay.
Jess. No, I had some guests leaving. All right, what was the question again?
Now I'm saying, would you cheat? Would you sleep with a man just to sleep with him? Even not cheating. Let's say you single. Would you sleep with a man just to sleep with him?
Okay, so before I give you like a straightforward answer, there's always explanations behind it. Me
Okay.
personally, I don't do that. But are there women out there who are like that? Yes. So it's hard to say. I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for other people. Um, but do I know women who sleep with a man just to sleep with him? Yes. Do I have friends that are like that or had friends that were like that? Yes. But me, I was raised on different values. If I sleep with you, it's something that I'm looking for long term. Some women, on the other hand, are not like that. Some are looking for just, because you got to think we are human beings. We crave physical touch and sexual intimacy and things like that. So if a man can give us that when we're feeling depleted and we want that, then yeah, there are women out there who will do it. But then you have women like myself who want something more than just a physical. Because after that's already done, I think long term, every time you sleep with someone, you're creating some kind of soul tie to them in some shape or form, So to answer the question, like, yes, women can just sleep with a man and not have any strings attached. but men are more notorious for sleeping with them and not having any feelings, and it's just an act. It's not anything else beyond
beyond sex.
right beyond sex.
But what I'm the way I feel like it is, it's more like you guys don't just, let's say you're in a relationship, right? You're in a relationship, you with your man, your boyfriend, husband, or whatever the case may be. Um, if you go and cheat, you already not feeling the person
Are
that
we,
you are with.
when you say cheat, you're talking about the act, right? Not like talking on the phone, deleting text messages,
That's what
leaving the
started
room.
to, that's what started it. So
Right, but I mean, if you have to delete text messages and call logs, and you're not transparent with your phone and all those things that you're doing, do you not feel as though that's a form of cheating too?
it is,
Yeah,
but
I would.
so does it
Yeah,
make, I I get it what you're saying, it's a form of cheating, but does it make a difference if you deleting text message, deleting phone calls, then you're not? Is it, let's say you delete them or you not delete them, is there, does that make it better that you don't get rid of them, or
It's not about making it better, but we got to all start where you got to find out the source, and then you got to find out the actions, and then because everything builds up on itself. You have your, like a house, you have your foundation. And then if you remove the foundation and you're trying to build your walls, the house will still crumble. If you're still trying to build your roof and add your windows and your doors and your tile and all that, and your sliders and all that, your house is still going to crumble because the foundation is poor. If you're deleting text messages, you're already disrupting the foundation of your home.
okay, let's say you're not deleting them.
Okay. Are you being
Okay,
transparent with your partner?
but it's still cheating, transparent or
Right.
not.
You're absolutely right, which is what I was saying before. If you're deleting text messages and call logs and all this, you're already halfway there. You're already halfway into cheating because now you're making extra steps to cover your tracks in an act that you have committed or are about to commit. Because I'm pretty sure men know ahead of time if the woman allows it, they'll have sex with them or not.
So
And women won't.
what is cheating? What is considered as a cheating? What do you
There,
consider as?
there's so many levels to cheating. It's hard to just say, like, what do you consider? Some can say, oh, it's the physical act of, penetrating another woman or having another man penetrate your woman. Some can sit there and say that it's the emotional attachment that I was just talking about with the deleted call logs and text messages and things like that. So it all starts there. Anything you do that disrupts the trust of your other partner by engaging in the opposite sex or same sex, if people are into that, you're already cheating. So I think cheating is not just it's just not just a cut and dry, oh, you're having sex with someone else. I think there's many levels to it.
So,
Um,
so if I, let's say if I'm going out tonight, I'm like, hey, I'm going out tonight. I'm planning on cheating on you. Since I tell her that, hey, I'm about to go cheat on you, is that better?
do you think it's better? You have
No,
to,
I'm asking you because you
you
the one
have
who
to,
say it's about transparency, right?
right. It is
If
about
it's about
transparency.
transparency, if I tell her the truth, hey, I'm going out tonight. I'm planning on clapping some chicks one way or another.
But why? Okay, but first of all, you guys will not go out and do that. You will do the act that will
See,
jeopardize your
see,
relationship, but
that's the thing.
you won't be vocal about it and bold enough to
No,
go to
that's
your
the thing with
partner.
men. Let's say for example, let's say if I go out tonight, right? Let's say I go out tonight, something happened, I ended up cheating, right? I didn't go out for that reason. It just ended up happening. But in
That's
your
another
case,
thing,
as a
Jeff. It
woman,
doesn't just happen.
for
It
us,
don't
it
just,
just happened. No,
it
no, no, no.
doesn't.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. For us, it just happened. We can go out tonight, not planning on cheating, but someone come across our way, like, oh, she look good, and we might ended up, having sex with her
No,
without
no,
planning it. But you
no.
guys, if you go out and that happen, you already had in your mind, you're gonna have sex tonight, no matter what.
Yeah, you know when you left the house, you know
Women,
exactly what you're about to do.
they know. 90% of the time, you guys know, hey, I'm going out tonight. I'm planning on getting some one way or another. You
Yeah,
know
because
it's true.
hey,
You know
listen, here's the thing though. You know, as a for a woman, they gotta get with it. You gotta make sure that you know that cookie is clean and all that. You gotta make
we
sure
ain't got
that
to do all that. We ain't.
we don't have to
You
do all
laughing
that. So
because you know it's true. It's
she
true.
knows that we don't have to
I'm
do
just,
all that.
I'm just laughing.
We can just
So,
like, hey, Jefferson, just have a little bit of water in your vehicle, just wipe it out, and you're good to go.
We
excuse
don't do that. We
We
don't do
don't do.
that.
We can't do
But
it. They can't do
we
that.
can't do that because it doesn't work that way. I can go out tonight. It's not even. It probably wasn't even in my intention. It ended up happening. Not even planning for it to happen, but guess what? It happened. But you go out there. If it happened, you plan to make that moment happen.
okay, so let's go back to what you said about men can go out, do it, and not think about it or anything.
Hmm.
There has to, first of all, if you're going out, why are you, yes, guys deserve their time, ladies deserve their time, but why are you going out and looking at something that's enticing and you know in the back of your mind you have someone at home waiting for you? Regardless, yes, you can do the act. Yeah, that's fine. You could also stick your finger in a socket too and get electrocuted with your finger wet, but you're not going to do it. Why? Because you know that there's going to be repercussions. You wouldn't risk, well, maybe you would. Why would you go out and cheat and do all of that knowing that you have someone at home?
We don't go out to cheat though. That's what
No,
I'm
you
trying to
don't
tell
go
you.
out with the intention. But if you,
No,
the thing is this, like with cheating, you have to put yourself in a position where you are alone with that person. And there are multiple opportunities that men have on the way to that bedroom, whether it's a hotel room, whether it's the woman's house, whether it's the man's house, whether it's the backseat of the car. You guys have multiple opportunities to say, you know what? Wait, let's stop this. The woman too, though. The woman too, because when you're driving to her house, you mean to tell me that you're not thinking about what you're doing? Of course you are, because you have to text your lady or call her and say, "Hey, baby, I'm gonna go get some drinks with the guys. I'm gonna go hang out. I'm gonna go do something," because you already know what you're about to get into. And then if you're going to the backseat of the car, you already know what you're getting into. You're engaging
see,
in your
that,
physical contact with a woman, and you're like, yeah, when the moment I'm gonna be a little frank, but when your dick start get hard, you already know what time it is.
that's
But
what you don't
we
see.
just talking
For
about
us
like
men,
female perspective though.
No,
yes, that's
but,
see, no, no, no. For us men, the second he take control, we have zero control. It's harder for us to go out and be like, because at the end of the day, it's always easier for a woman to go out there and get some than a man. Always.
well,
Yeah, it's
I can't speak on that because I'm not a man. So
No,
that was
but that's what I'm trying to tell you. Because I
okay.
know.
Let's just say this. Right? Let's just say you and I decided to leave out of the house right now to get something, right? And don't you think that it's gonna be easier for you to get it, like faster for you to just get it than me?
you talking to me?
Yeah.
I don't think so necessarily. I mean, because women nowadays have so much competition. Like there's so many out there. You have women who are prettier, women who are lace fronts, women who have fake breasts, fake boobs. There now, if you're talking just getting it, I don't know. I guess not. I don't know. It's hard to speak on that because that's not my scene. You'd have to probably get someone who's more outside than me.
So
But
you tell me that you just go to Walmart right now on your way out. You tell me that you're gonna left the Walmart without a man if you unless you don't want to. If you was
Walmart.
something that you go for and
Now
you will get out
Walmart.
of it.
Okay, I'll give you a perfect thing, Lunas. I went to Key Foods the other day. Not yesterday, but last week. And I had on something that it was nice. It was more form fitting. And were there people that looked? Yeah. And that's all they did was look. And I looked back, but then I'm just like, and then I turned my head. Could I have probably gotten it?
You know you would.
Maybe.
There's
But
no
again,
maybe.
it's like, no, the reason I said maybe is because maybe that man is questioning, like, is it worth the risk? But it's not something, but again, that's not me. So it's hard to say. But do men look? Yeah, men look. You know, so was he in a relationship? I don't know. Was he talking
So,
to? I don't know. I'm just telling you, like maybe I could have, but that's not that's not a barrier I was willing to
Yeah,
cross.
that's the thing. It's easier for you to get that kind of attention than us. It's always easier for the woman to, get a certain attention before
I
we do.
won't, I won't deny.
Rather,
I won't deny that. You know, I can't. I will not sit there and say yes, that's true, or no, that's false. You know, if you feel that, if you believe that, then okay. You know, you're probably right.
hey, let me ask you this as a woman though, like why now, especially nowadays though, like female they be wearing like some inappropriate stuff, like especially like you know what I mean, like is there
Okay.
a reason behind it though? Like why are you guys doing that?
Doing what?
Like wearing some like tight stuff, like you know, like you can see all the private part,
revealing clothes where all your curves are
like
showing.
showing it, like no, just like you say you went to a key food and what you had on, and you because I'm pretty sure before you left the house, you knew that people was gonna watch you. People was gonna looking at you like, damn, she's fine. So did you just did it just because of
It was
you
something
want
that I
people
it was something that I had on already in the house, and it wasn't revealing. It was a top and then a skirt, but the skirt went to my ankles, but the skirt was more form fitting,
mm,
and yeah, it wasn't anything short or revealing. It was just form fitting, and honestly, I didn't wear it with the like men. You guys don't go out with the intention to cheat. I didn't wear it for the intention to get attention.
But
I,
you would get that kind of attention.
well, I don't know because that was the first time I ever, wore something like that. So, and went to the store. Typically, I would change and put on something else, but like I said, it wasn't revealing. It was just more form fitting. But men, I mean, if we're being honest, men like that type of stuff anyway.
so
But
that's the reason why you did
it
it.
wasn't, it wasn't like I was disrespecting myself. I wasn't showing any, body parts or anything like that. So my breasts weren't hanging out. There wasn't cleavage. It was just more form fitting. But I mean, you can't blame the woman for what she wore and said, oh, what her clothes is what made me cheat on you, babe.
No, I don't really do, but at the same time, you got to know certain things will always get you a certain type of attention.
Right. But you, as men, should also know you made some form of a commitment to your partner, whether it's being loyal and faithful to just them. It was either maybe when you exchange vows, like what the other person wears has no reflection on the commitment you made to someone
I
else.
mean, like that's why me personally, my part of commitment was never have nothing to do with not looking. I'm always gonna look.
But we're not talking about looking, but looking
If
can lead
looking
to
is cheating, I cheat every day. I'm not.
no.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
Looking leads to approaching, which leads to talking, which leads to touching, which leads to fucking. So if you don't have any self restraint, then you're already in hot water.
I
Yeah,
That's
think
how
but
it's
I
that's
don't.
that's
I
I think
don't
that's
it's
how
think
more than
looking.
that.
everything builds off of something else. Like you're men, you guys go off of physical. Everything's physical, you know. And then when you build that emotional connection with someone, then it builds on a deeper level. But I mean, we're all primal beings. Women have sexual needs, men have sexual needs. But I look at it, me personally, from my perspective, if I were to go out and cheat, and I don't know, you guys men would have to tell me. If I go out and cheat, it more than likely is something that is lacking at home. That was probably vocalized to the other party and they chose not to acknowledge it and make the necessary adjustment.
See, last night Linus asked me that. Is it really? Do you think women really tell us men exactly what they want in bed, what they like?
That's the thing. I don't think they're being honest. That's yeah.
I
That's did you? Yeah, here's the thing. Did you talk to him? Do you talk to your partner and be like, hey,
This is
so
how I. This is what I want. This is
during sex.
No,
Not
no,
just
no, no,
during
no.
Oh,
sex. Okay, let's say for example, let's say you guys been together for a few years, and then you like a certain things, and then you realize, hey, he's not doing this. Instead of going elsewhere looking for it, which is cheating, do you tell him, be like, hey, babe, I would like you to do this. I would like you to try this. I wanna. That's what I like. That's what I like. Would you do this? Because I feel like most women don't.
yeah, I would. Because again, if I'm making that commitment to you, that is my commitment. I am committed to you. So, but the thing is, if I'm talking to you for years, I shouldn't be finding out years later that you do or you do not like something. You should have told, and then that's the thing, they always say closed mouth doesn't get fed or the crying baby gets the milk. If you keep your mouth shut, how do you expect anything to change? Because your partner is not a mind reader. If she knows that you don't like it when you do a certain thing that you do, how will she ever
Yeah.
change it? Now,
But
if you tell her and she doesn't try to correct the behavior, then that's something different.
no, but sometimes I feel like mostly men they would do a certain. I mean, I guess women does it too. They will do a certain things just to please the other person, even if they don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in that case, do you communicate? Be like, hey man, I know you like this, but I don't like it. I know that's what pleases you, but I don't like it.
But okay, I'll give you an example. So I have a classmate who was with a girl who was a dancer, like an exotic dancer. He knew she was a dancer. She expressed that to him, and he didn't like when she wore revealing clothes. Um, One, he didn't like her job. He didn't like the job, but he also didn't like what she wore when they would go out when she was not working. So she continued to wear these things after he expressed that he did not like those, like the way she carried herself, and she continued to do it. So I told him she doesn't care about you and what she's all about what she wants. Because if you are telling her, hey, baby, your job is concerning and it's damaging to our relationship. Hey, I don't like the clothes that you're wearing. You're bringing too much attention to you, and I don't like that. And she still continues to do it. She doesn't care. That's the sum of it all. She didn't care.
Part of that is I feel like most men nowadays don't really tell the woman, hey, I don't want you to go out. Because the second you do that, they call you controlling.
Yeah.
Which is, you know what I mean? Like, because I don't think there's women nowadays, especially nowadays, like if you're like, hey babe, I don't like you wearing this. You shouldn't be going out wearing this. The second you do that, oh, he's controlling.
But it's not about if you're telling someone that you don't like something, right? Telling someone you don't like something and telling someone to stop doing something is two different things. If you're telling her, baby, I don't like when you don't fry my bun an extra crispy, that's not you controlling her. That's you telling her that you like it a different way. It's a
No, no,
preference.
no. I'm talking about the clothes wearing part.
Well, then you
Let's say for example, right? I tell Juju, hey, I don't like you wearing this. Basically, that's me telling her stop wearing this. Don't you think?
no, because you can tell her I don't like when you wear that when you're not with me. There's a difference. Do you like when she does not wear it, or you like when she does not wear it with you, without
It,
you there?
certain things I will say, even if I'm there, like to go in the house is different, but to go out, let's say she's going out, I'm like, I don't like you wearing this going out. Whether
Whether
I'm there or not,
whether she's with you or not. Okay.
whether she's with me or not, don't you think most women will be like, oh, he's controlling what I'm wearing?
No. But then again, this is why it's important to understand your partner. Now, if you're telling her that, then obviously you have some kind of concern. And then that would open a conversation of you and her talking about what you like, what you don't like, blah, 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 blah. It would lead to, and that's where that transparency comes from, not about the whole, oh, I'm going to go cheat on you. You good with that? No. If you don't like something that she does or that she wears or that she says or how she talks, that is up to you to be able to communicate with her effectively and get your point across without, and making sure that there's some kind of common understanding. Because without it, then you guys are just having meaningless conversation. So
Okay.
it would lead to, well, okay, baby, why don't you like when I wear this? And you would say whatever you say, oh, it brings too much attention to you. You're my wife. You need to conduct yourself in a better way, blah, 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 whatever. And then she can, you would open her eyes to something. She have to be receptive to it. Same thing with men. If this like, oh, baby, I don't like when you do this, the men should be receptive to what, should be
I,
receptive to what the
I
partner is
agree.
saying too.
I
Right.
So
I,
agree.
that's where that healthy communication comes in because, you know, like I'm in a situation now where it's like I think about what the other person might think or might say, and it's like I'm biting my tongue not saying something when they're biting their tongue not saying something. When somebody just has to just come out and say, like, hey, I don't like that, or hey, I like that. Like I just found out like I just found out today, like, oh, I like when you do this. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. So moving forward, I know to be a little bit more affectionate. You know what
what
I'm
is it?
saying?
What is it?
But
What you did?
is it a new relationship?
I don't know about that.
You
No,
can't
no, no.
reveal
Because
that.
I'm asking because
You
usually things like that
can't.
come up. No, no, no. I'm asking because usually
Hey,
why is
hey,
she
we need
laughing?
to.
No.
Who probably? Hey, where'd you go?
Uh, oh hell no.
Hey,
No, I'm asking because usually, questions like this come up. Things like that usually come up when you are in a new relationship. That's why I'm asking.
Well, no, but sometimes you can be with someone for years too. Like you said, you're with someone for years and you're just now telling them, hey, baby, I don't like when you do that, or I don't like when you wear that. That's a
Oh,
new conversation. That's where the communication comes in at because you're letting the person know, like, hey, I don't like this, or you're not learning them, but it is still something new. It's a new conversation that was never had before from
yeah.
a perspective that you guys probably didn't touch before. Maybe it was on your mind for a while, but you just never came out and said, "Hey, I don't like when you do something. I like when you do something."
Okay, I agree. I agree.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's important. Like when people are getting to know people, you sit down and you really talk with them and understand. Do you have a Type C charger? Do you have a Type C charger? Type C charger?
so Gibson, she doesn't want to tell us what she did.
No, I
No,
mean, I mean,
no.
if it's
It was just,
personal, it's personal.
it was really just like physical touch. That was what it was. You know, it was just because I'm very kind of hands off. So, and I don't know why. I do know why. It's like you're timid. You're shy. You don't want to do something that may annoy the person. But then when you find out that they like what you like, it's like, oh, okay. So I found out like, oh, I like when, okay, then, well, now I know. You know what I'm saying? So it's something, that I know now. So that's all.
Can I give you a piece of advice? Usually, things like that, and I feel like all new couples should really try this. Don't just, especially if you go out to eat with that person, just interview each other.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a good way to, get all those things out the way. I
Yeah.
know some we might even ask some really personal questions, but I feel like it's a good way to start, getting to know, especially if it's somebody you're trying to actually build something with. It's always good to, get ask those questions.
That is true. You
So,
know, that is true. That is all
but
that's true.
to
But at the
get
end of
back,
the day, like the communication, like all of everything, like this whole topic and everything builds on communication. Everything is built on communication. The verbals, the nonverbals, the physical touch, um all that starts with physical touch. I mean, sorry, with communication. It all
Yeah.
stems from there. So if you are doing something that that the other person doesn't like, or you're getting to know them, you ask those kind of questions. Hey, how are you when I interact with other women? Are you the jealous type? Are you the loyal type? Are you the faithful type? You know,
I mean,
those are all important questions to ask too.
hey yo, but how often someone tell the truth and ask how loyal you are? You think you're gonna ask like a woman how loyal you are? You think she's gonna be like, well, I'm 90% loyal. I cheat on the weekend. I'm not too much of a. You think really a woman's gonna come out and be like, I'm not fully loyal. No, you're just gonna
Well,
find out.
in all honesty, is a man gonna come out and say that either?
No one is. No
No
one
one's
is.
gonna
But
no
but
one's
it's
gonna come
good.
and say that. Like me, I'll be honest. Like I'm loyal until I'm not.
See those
No,
even
but
those things. I especially
but that's the thing. You
I
have
don't want
to
to
know-
I don't want to disrespect you in any shape or
just,
form.
just say it.
But no.
That's the
But listen,
thing.
I don't think it's very hard for me to, especially the way you keep saying it. You're like, you, you might be, and I believe you, but it's just hard to see over like, I never cheat.
I didn't say I've never cheated.
There you go.
Yeah,
I never said I said I'm loyal until I'm not. That is what I
Loyal
said.
until you're not.
Right. There's a big
So
difference.
you still ended up cheating.
Yeah. I mean, but
Okay.
you gotta think too. How old was I? How long was I in this relationship? Was it at the brink of the end? You have to ask those kind of questions too, because as you get older, you mature, and then you realize, hey, these are the things that I want that I refuse to live without, or these are the things that I no longer want and I'm willing to live without. So no one, I feel as though I have yet to meet one person that says I've never cheated
and,
in any
and
relationship.
hey, God is watching, man.
What you
You better
mean?
watch
Like,
out.
Jeff, I didn't say in your marriage or in your relationship. I said ever. Like cheating is cheating is cheating, and it doesn't have to be your
I
current
mean,
relationship.
I'm not gonna lie. Cheating is in my bone. Like, it's
I mean,
just
it's
that
not like something that you're gonna be doing, but
if I'm being
Now,
honest, do I do it? No, but it's in me. Do
everything
I
is
try
in the
not?
like,
Do I try not to do it? Yeah, of course.
yeah.
You know,
But that's the thing. You got to ask because there comes a maturity level too. How old are you when you did it? How recent was it? How long ago? And then the biggest thing, like with any life lesson, you have to be able to walk away with something and say, you know what, I learned from that, and that's something I'm not willing to do again.
but
It wasn't worth it.
the age, I
Things
feel
like
like
that.
the age,
hey, I mean,
the number of years you've been with that person. I don't think. I feel like none of that really matter
You
because
don't think
at the end of
so?
the day, no, because at
So
the end
let
of the
me
day, we're
tell
all
you.
human.
I'll give
It
you a
can
story.
happen.
Right. I'll give you a story. So one
Hmm.
day, a friend of mine, she was talking to this guy that she met, and they were talking for about 4 or 5 months. And she found out 5 months in that when they were dating for 2 months, that he was cheating on her, and she she was upset. And he said, and she wasn't sure what she wanted to do, and she said that his explanation was, "Baby, I'm not cheating on you anymore. I love you. I want to be with you." That was in the beginning. That was in the beginning. That was in the
Hmm.
beginning. And I said, "Yeah, but cheating is still cheating is still cheating."
No, but you know, one
And
thing is, I don't know his story, but to me personally, I feel like that's something most men struggle with. Especially, let's say you started to talk to somebody new. Most of the time, we have other people that we're talking to.
mhm,
Most of the time,
right,
you at the end of, let's say, the one that you ended up with, the first few months, you might still have somebody you were talking to, you were still messing with. That's for most men, that's normal.
okay. So again, back to the communication. That's where it stems from. Did that other person, the person you chose, did was that communicated and said,
But
"Hey, I want
if
to
we
let
were
you know."
just talking, you should assume I talk to other people. We're not in a committed relationship yet.
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
I think here's the thing though, I think it's every relationship it happens though. Like in the beginning, let's just say you were like out there, you were like free, like do whatever you want to do, right? And then you decided to settle down. And prior to that, you were talking to you were out there doing your thing, right? And you finally decided to settle down. And once that happened, you move in with your partner, and then it's the first few months, probably even a year, it's gonna be really really tough because that's not something that you're not really used to it. You're just trying to get used to it. But at the beginning of my relationship, it was hard. I think that, like, for me saying that, I think I can talk to for every man. I think that happened to every man. Like, because that's something that I know that happened to every man. The beginning of relationship when you decided to settle down is not an easy process. Though. This is really tough.
And that's where the communication comes in at, because I'm pretty sure when you're ready to take that next step with that person and be fully committed to them, you would expect that there's a mutual understanding and that they won't, um, that it will be established that you guys will not be talking to anybody else but each other, right? Because the communication is there, right? Or do you
Yeah.
just get up and say, do you, when you claim them as your girlfriend or your boyfriend, that means you're not talking to anyone else? Does it
No,
mean
it's,
that you approach the person and say, hey, baby, I just want to let you know, we're exclusive, or, something like that?
even if we were exclusive, there might cause most. I don't know for most men, but for me, I feel like I still, let's say for example, there might be this one girl I haven't talked to her. We let's say we used to talk every few months. Every few months she'll hit me up or I hit her up. Let's say while I'm in that committed relationship, she hit me up. And I'm like, oh hey, I'm not gonna be like, hey, I don't wanna talk to you no more. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like most men's not gonna be like, oh no, fuck you, I don't wanna talk to you no more. I'm with this girl now. Most men's are not gonna do that.
No, I
It's
know
still
why.
good.
You know who's good for doing that? Women are good for doing that. They're good for either cussing a man out or not responding. But I noticed too
Okay.
that when it comes to cheating, men have a hard time letting go. Women will just cut a man off, no questions asked, no problem. You never look back. But men have a hard time breaking that tie, and it's like, why? If it was just a sexual act, then why is it so hard to end something that really means nothing to you?
It's not about meaning anything. We're just not gonna cut someone off just to do it. We'll slow it down. Of course, we'll slow it down
Till it
eventually. We'll
eventually,
get to the point
until
where we
it
don't.
dies off.
Yeah, and we'll get to the point where slowly we don't talk to that person anymore. But we're not just gonna be like, oh, fuck you. We don't want to talk to you no more. We're not gonna do that.
But you don't have to say it like that, but you can just let them know, like, hey, listen, like, this is done now. It's done. But y'all won't say that because, you always want to leave on some kind of peaceful amends. So if it doesn't work out, you can always pick up where you left off.
Is there something wrong with that? No, no. I'm no.
I
Like we're
didn't,
talking, right?
I
Is there
didn't
something wrong with that?
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it, but I'm saying that a woman would, yeah. So back to your statement, Jefferson, where you said it's easier for a woman to get a guy. I guess in that case, yeah, because you can cut off a guy right now and say, "Oh yeah, well I'm done. I'm not talking to you anymore," and it be done.
Hmm.
Because she knows that she can probably get somebody else. You
The
know,
next day,
the
the next
next day,
second.
someone down the line. But for a man, on the other hand, it's like someone doesn't mean anything. It's just a sexual thing. Um, and then you turn around and, oh no, like, okay, you slow it down, but you don't want to just get up and say like, hey. And sometimes you guys are not even really like honest with it too. You'll just be like, hey, yeah, I think we should stop. You don't say, hey, listen, I'm in a fully committed relationship. Sorry I didn't choose you. I'm gonna go ahead and be with this girl.
You know the funny thing is, I think I have one or two girls that we were together and we just stopped talking. We never broke up.
It ain't done then. That door is still open. You gotta lock that thing.
I
It's
don't
not
have
that
the
easy
key,
though.
so I can lock it.
Well, yeah, it's done. It's done now. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Like, it's like it's that it's just like me when I people know, like, I let it be known whether there's somebody or there's nobody. Nobody ever has to worry about calling my phone and no, because when it's done, it's done. It's done. I don't even reopen that door. Why go through a door that you already went through?
I mean,
You
if you
know?
left something in there.
Nah, leave that shit. I'll go buy another one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Because
But
that's
it's
how it all starts. You know what I'm saying? That's how it all starts. And then that's the thing. People have boundaries and they cross them. And, that's the thing. That's why I like the cheating is very important because you made a commitment to your partner. That other
Okay,
person,
but
they
we
didn't make a commitment to anybody. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Maybe they're single and just like, hey, I like him, I want him. And then you have women out there who don't even care that they're in an active relationship.
But okay, let me tell you, it's easier for a man who's in a relationship to find a new girl, knowing the girl know, hey, this man have a wife, have kids. The girl will still be willing to mess with her. Then a man will be willing to mess with somebody like a woman who's married.
I could believe it.
For some reason, girls are really attracted to married men.
Yeah. And that shit's nasty. It's yeah, I know, and it's pretty pathetic to be honest with you,
You call it
because
nasty.
it's like, but then they don't want anything. Like women like that, they either want to know that they won the game and they took the man from the woman, or they don't even want him. They just want what he can offer her.
Well,
So let
and
me
the
ask you this though. Let me ask you this though. If your man cheated on you, how would you how would you do it? Would you
would
cheat
you
it back,
stay?
or how would you like?
Okay, so I can tell you what I've done in the past,
Okay.
and what I've done in the past, sadly, and it's not something like I'm very proud to say, but I would actually sit there and try to find out why. I would try to understand my partner, because is it something that I did? Is it something that I didn't do? And I would stick it out and try to fix it, to be honest. But if the other person is not willing, or they don't have a reason why they did it, they just did it, but they couldn't explain it to me in a manner that, hey, maybe it's something that I can do differently. Then it's
But
just like it's a waste. So what I've done in the past was I've actually sat down and tried to understand why they did it.
most of the time, men, for example, most of the time when a man cheat, it's because of there's something they're not getting from the partner.
Well, I don't have that problem. Not with
No,
that. Like, what are you not getting? I feel like women more are emotional. That's why, if it'll be, that's why when women cheat, it's like, oh, well, he does this for me. He does that for me. He takes me there. He appreciates me. Most of the time, women go unappreciated. Most of the time, they go unappreciated. That is one of the main reasons why women cheat. Whether it's you don't take me out, we don't date, you don't tell me I'm beautiful, you just don't. Then that's one of the reasons why, you
so
know.
you think so you let's say for example, oh, you in a relationship, since your man is not telling you pretty, he's not telling you beautiful, a man walk by it, or you walking and this man talking to you every day, coming like, oh, you're so beautiful, you this, you that. That's a reason for you to go and cheat.
Well, look, it's better than cheating and not having a reason, Mister. Yeah, I just do it because I can do it. But I'm
No,
not
but
giving. I'm
even
not
with
giving.
that,
I'm
even
not
with that,
giving the okay. But what I'm saying is, people, we as people, like if you go back to the biblical times, men and women were to be together. They are supposed to have communication. They're supposed to be physical touch. They're supposed to be all those things. You're still supposed to date your person after you have them.
I get that.
Just like
Uh,
how you go out and you date a new woman and you take her out and you buy her things, you continue to do that in a relationship. But then life becomes, you enter a state of normalcy where it's just the everyday day in and day out. Hey, 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 okay, whatever. And then you take a shower, you go to bed, and then you're back into the everyday routine. But
mhm.
you still have to date your person. And I'm not saying that it's okay to cheat. I never condone cheating. I would that's not my thing. But what I'm saying is, when you know the reason why a person did what they did, it's better, you're able to better understand why they did it. Like I told you what I did. Like when I found out that I was getting cheated on, I asked like why? Like what is it that I'm not doing? But that's me trying to understand my partner at the time. Not me saying, okay, that's what I want to keep
Did
doing,
you
or
come up with a reason?
I,
Yeah.
did I come up with a reason?
Yeah,
I wasn't the one cheating.
did he give you a reason? Okay, here's
Um,
why.
no,
Oh, he
I
didn't
got
tell you
a,
why.
I no, no. It was more like, that's just the way it played out. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
play it out.
That was the response I got, or um, yeah, some like little stupid shit like that. You know, it wasn't anything. But then again, uh, when you
Okay, let,
try, but then when the blame was casted on me, it was more like, well, how was I supposed to know that? You never told me that ever. So I think at that point, when I just became very persistent on trying to get a reason, I think I was just given a
do you
reason.
feel like there is a do you feel like part of the reason it happened you had a part to play in it? Do you think like part of it was, there was something you wasn't doing, or
No, and if I wasn't doing something, it wasn't communicated to me. Yeah. So that's why I tell you that communication is very big. Like I told you, today about, oh, I found out something that I didn't know, like, they have like the five love languages. You have physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, and there's a fifth love language.
lack of service?
Acts of service. There we go. So we as human
Yeah,
beings,
I'm all with that love shit. I'm in there.
yeah. So it's great, but I also think before you get onto those five love languages, you also have to know what love language does your partner speak. Because if you're not filling their cup in that area, then they're longing for that. So anytime somebody comes and wants to give them quality time or physical touch, and that person is speaking the language,
Hmm.
it almost, especially if they're not getting it at home, it almost opens the door for her to be like, oh, well, someone's noticing me. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, I like that. And maybe the same thing goes for a man. It's just that you guys are not more like when you cheat, it's not built off of like physical. It's built off physical and not emotional.
Yeah,
So
but
it's just one of those things where it gets a little tricky. But cheating is, to sum it up, cheating is. I don't condone it. I look at it like this. If you have to do all of that and you have to delete text messages, and you better off just being single. You know what I'm saying? Because clearly you're not getting your needs met in one or more area of your life that you want. And there's someone out there who is either doing it or you're looking for someone who can probably do it. So you
so
have
let me ask you this: you're in a relationship, you're with your wife or your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever the case may be. Um, let's say you telling him, "Hey, I need this. Here are my needs," and he's still not, fulfilling them, or she's still not fulfilling them. Does that give you the green light to cheat? Since you communicate, I'm just trying to understand.
um is there an attempt?
Attempt as in,
Is the person like if I tell you I don't like this or I need this, is the person trying? Because you also have to give them time
no.
to adjust.
Need let's say they don't try.
You go back again and you repeat it, and then you repeat it another time because you got to remember we're creatures of habit,
Hmm.
especially if you're years into the relationship and now what's going to look like to your partner as a new request for something like let's just say you're 5 years in and now all of a sudden you come and you say, oh baby, I like when you rub my back when I come home from work. Five
Hmm.
years into the relationship, she or he did not know 5 years into the relationship that you like getting back massages when you come home from work. This should have been something that was communicated, you know, early on. But nonetheless, you have to also give that person time to adjust to that new request and need in your life. And then you have to find out how can they factor it into their life if they live a busy life. Is this
Okay, let me
person
ask.
have does this
uh,
person have kids? Does this person work a full-time job? Is this person in school? Do they have hobbies? Are they fully involved in the church? Because this new request is going to take time. It's
Yeah,
going to
I
take
get
time
that,
away
but
from what
hey,
they're doing. But if
is
there's really no effort at all, then it's like, okay, what are we doing? And
it
then
is gonna take time, but how much time would you give that person?
I think it all depends on the person. I think you can't, that's like saying like, how long do you talk to someone to say, hey, I'm in love with you. I'm in love. There's
It's
no
not like
time limit.
it's not like
There's,
it's not like something
yeah,
people talk about.
it all depends. It's all about the person. the person that is feeling that way, the person that it's being communicated to, it's all based off of their timeline. Like there's no, there's no. I don't think there's really a timeline, but I don't feel as though, you should wait years. You shouldn't wait years to say you want something, and you shouldn't have to wait years to get it either. But again, that's where the communication back. That's like the core of everything. Communication. Why do you do what you do? Why do you not do what you do? Why are you, why are you cheating? Why are you telling me this now? Why? Why? It's a lot of whys, and it's like this is where the whole transparency comes from. But people just need to lay it out and let it be known off, like from the very beginning. That's why I think sometimes things move too fast, or people don't think, and then when things come up, sometimes it could even be the way that the person responds to them. That they just say, you know what, I'm not even going to talk to, Justin. I'm not even going to talk to Lunas about that because he always gets very defensive, and then the conversation doesn't go.
But
You know?
but that thing is eating your insiders. You gotta let it out.
That is true. That is true. But then you have to also determine what are your deal breakers when you're talking to someone and what is a deal maker. But if you're big on communication and you realize that the person you're talking to is not big on communication, do you really think that relationship's going to work if it's built solely on physical like attraction?
Yeah,
Probably.
but they'll tell you, but I love him though.
How do you love someone that you can't even communicate with?
Okay, so
You're
would
building
you
it off
say,
of lust at that point, and then it's not gonna go far. Like
yeah,
you
that's
can
true.
say, "Oh, she can't, she can't cook for shit, but man, she looks good though." It's not. It's gonna
You're
go
gonna
so
go
far.
hungry.
Yeah.
No, so would you say lack of communication is the main start, like the starting point of cheating?
Mm, there could be yes and no. Um, I think self awareness is one. Communication is another. Because if you have unhealed trauma that you're going through or insecurities from your childhood, from your upbringing, previous relationships, and you're not dealing with that and addressing that, you might carry those same issues into a relationship and hurt someone who didn't even hurt you because of
That's
hurt
true.
that you didn't address when you were single or when you were younger or seeking medical professional help or anything like that. So it's I would say communication is very important, but I can't sit there and say I think that's the one of the most pivotal things in a relationship.
Yeah.
You
No,
know that that's what I think.
me personally, it's not. I don't. The thing is to me about cheating. I don't. Cause at the end of the day, one thing I always say, I feel like it's especially us as human. I feel like that's something that can happen at any moment. What I don't like is I don't like, let's say somebody, let's say you with your partner, let's say he or she go out and cheat. What I hate the most is you, let's say you have to find that out from somebody else. You have to find that out from your own, digging.
Investigation.
Yeah. I would rather you come home and be like, hey, I know it's hard to say. That's not something you can just come out and say. I will, it'll make I'll be e- it'll- I will say it'll be easier for me to forgive you if you come here and be like, hey, here's what happened. Here's what I didn't mean to, but hey, I was in the moment. Here's what happened. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. Shit happened.
So you
It's not like you went out to go. Oh, I'm going out to cheat. You know what I mean?
so
It,
you'll
it
be
might
man
ended up
enough.
happening,
I can't hear.
whether
So
you
you,
were in a community relationship or not.
so you will come up to your partner to let the partner know you did it.
If I did it, if I come,
Yeah.
especially if you do love that person, you'll feel guilty. You would want to tell her because that
So
thing will be eating you from the inside out. You would want to be like, hey, hey, and I'm guarantee you, the second you tell her or she tell you, you'll feel a relief.
but you know it's gonna be 50-50 though. She
Right.
might leave you.
Yeah, of course, but you did what you did, so you have to. If the consequences with her leaving you have to be willing to live with that. Don't you think?
So that's tough, man.
It is tough, but you were you did what you did.
Yeah,
If she decides to forgive you, yeah, cool. If she doesn't, that's still part of the consequence you have to deal with.
I
You
mean,
have to be willing to live with the
if she
consequence.
come up to me and ask me about it, I would be honest, but I'm not gonna go and tell.
You're not gonna be. Alright.
No,
So if she asks you, you'll be honest, but
I would
if
tell her the
you're not
truth.
gonna come up and tell her, hey, I cheated.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna tell her the truth if she come up to me and ask me about it, but I'm not gonna just go,
Yeah,
tell her, hey,
I
here's what
get
I
it.
did.
I
I,
get it.
that's kind of, you know what I mean? If you knew you was gonna do something that's bad and you went in and you did it anyway, and you
But
come up to her and be like, hey, here's what I did, that doesn't make
but
no sense to
what you
me.
need to
Like,
understand
you
is
know
the
what you
next.
did.
It wasn't. What you need to understand is it wasn't in your intention to go out and cheat,
But you did. Come on now,
but
seriously.
you
Like,
did. I get it. You did. That's why you have to come out and be like, hey, it wasn't my intention. Come out clean. Come out clean. Be like, hey, it wasn't my intention to go
now
out and cheat on
now
you, but it
if she,
happened.
now if she asks, I'll tell her the truth. But if not,
How would she
this
know? How would she know to come up and ask you, hey, did you cheat on me last night?
I, I would probably. You gotta understand though. Here's the thing though. This is the way. Like sometimes I feel like it's better to just stay quiet instead of go and tell because I it's just
Then your partner will never
his,
find out that thing. You'll be feeling that guilt. Okay, Liz, let me ask you, would
I would
you,
rather live
let's
with
say
it
your
instead of have
man,
her. She's gonna be there when she's gonna be live with that too. I would
okay,
probably just leave it,
I
keep
get
it
it,
to
but
myself
Liz,
and let me deal with it, but not hers. If she find
let's
out,
say
yeah, but
you,
I'm not gonna put it. It doesn't make no sense to me though. That's just me.
okay, but okay, Liz, let me ask you, let's say your man went out, right? Let's say he's out with the guys now, he went out, hey, he had a good time, come home. Would you go up to him and be like, hey, did you cheat on me tonight? That's a weird question to ask. Like, no woman will walk up to you and ask you, "Hey, have you cheated on me last night?"
Okay, so um
Would you rather him tell you, or would you just be like, I didn't know,
Yeah.
or he didn't do it? It just doesn't make no sense that you did something. You just go out there and tell. You just come home and tell her that here's what I did. I don't understand that. Like, Liz, as a female, how would you take that? Right?
The thing
Would
is,
you
you
rather
could be a
him to
liar,
come up
you
to you?
can be a cheater at the same time. You have to
It's
pick
not
one.
lie. It's not lie. If she came up to me, asked me, I would tell her the truth. But I'm not
okay,
just
so it you're not I feel like you're not lying, but you're being deceitful because you're leading her to think that she trusted you to go out alone or go out with your friends, and she trusted that you would be faithful. She shouldn't have to come and ask you, did you cheat or did you not cheat, in order to find out if you did or you didn't. Now, if you're going to do something and she asks you, but then this brings me back to what I was telling you earlier, Jeff, where you need to know your partner. If you know your partner is weak mentally and really just is just weak, especially for women, then you got to know, like, is this a train that I'm willing to continue riding on? Especially if you know that there are instances in the past, and for her to come up and say, "Hey, did you cheat on me?" Then that means there's probably some doubt that's already crept into the relationship,
Yeah.
and she's wondering, "Oh, did you go cheat?" Or she might know her partner and be like, "Oh yeah, that man, yeah, he likes women. I know he does. I know he does."
Me, me.
So
I
like to answer the question, like, do I want to find out if it were to happen? Like, first, I feel like it shouldn't happen, but if it were to happen, I wouldn't want to find out. I would want the person to come and sit me down and explain to me what happened and what are we going to do moving forward. You can't just get up and say, "Hey, I cheated on you." Okay, but what are you willing to do after? Are you done cheating? Are you still going to see this girl? Like, that's the problem. You can't just get up and say, "I'm going to go cheat," or "I cheated," and you have no plan. You have to say, "Okay, well, it was a one-time thing, it was a mistake. I'm sorry, it won't happen again, baby. I love you, blah 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 blah."
That's me.
Or is it like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna see her again. I don't know if I'm gonna talk to. I don't know. Then that's where the doubt continues to
But
to creep
yeah,
and
but at
build.
the same time, I feel like if you have it in you to go out and cheat, you should still be willing to live with the consequence, whether
That
that
is
person wanna
true.
forgive you or not.
But that is true. But then again, if the person is willing to forgive you or not, I'm pretty sure they're not going to forgive you and still stay with you if you're telling them, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to talk to her still. I don't know if I'm going to see her again. You know? So, yeah, you do have to deal with the consequences. But at the same time, too, you need to know your partner. Know your partner. But so for you to go out with your friends and she comes in and say, "Hey, did you cheat on me?" And that means there's already doubt. And there's not much
Yeah,
trust. There's not trust there. Now,
but
if they
So
if they come out and admit to it and say, "Baby, listen, I went out and I slept with a girl, blah blah blah," then you should be man enough to deal with the conflict. Either way, whether she finds out or whether she asks and you admit, you still have to be willing to deal with the consequences. But more so, I think the next steps are most important too. What are you going to do moving forward? Are you done? Are you going to talk to her again? Those are the things that matter most too.
that's the thing with men. 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's a one-time thing. Because the thing is,
But
we
that also
never.
leaves room for that 1%. And what happens with that 1%?
I
I mean,
agree.
it can still
No, no,
happen.
no. I'm saying 90%, 99% of men, 99% of
Oh,
men,
so
not
then-
99% of the
oh,
time, 99% of
okay.
men only do it. It's most of the time, especially because to me it's very hard for you to be like, oh, I love that person and go out and cheat, but yet it can still happen. Because me, I can speak for myself. I'm strong. I've turned down a lot just for the fact that I know I'm in a relationship. You know what I mean? It's just but at the end of the day, the thing is I don't feel like I have the time or the energy to be messing with somebody on I just not that I couldn't, not that I wouldn't find a person to. It's just I don't have the time or the energy. I really don't. And if I were to go out and do it, it is what it is. You wanna leave me cool. You wanna stay? I'll try everything I can for it not to happen again. Because when it happened, I didn't go and
Planet.
force it to happen. If
Right.
that makes sense.
Right.
But if it did
so
happen,
go back to
it
my question
happened.
again, Lee. So you would rather your man come up to you be like, "Hey, babe, I cheated," or would you rather not to know anything? Or you just think things is normal, like no, knowing that he didn't do anything, like not even put that in your mind, think that he's doing something. Would you rather be like, okay, I'm good, he didn't tell me nothing, and then he didn't even, it's not something he was thinking about, or would you just be like, expect him to just be like, hey, babe, I cheated?
Um, it, for me, I think I would probably want the person to tell me because there needs to be accountability. When you walk in the house and you act like you didn't do anything and you didn't say anything, there's no accountability on your part. You're
No.
not coming up and saying, I did something to jeopardize our relationship. I did something to question and doubt your trust. There's no accountability there. You're going to walk in the house, you're going to act like everything is normal. And if she asks, then you're going to say something. But if she never asks, then you'll never say anything. And there's no accountability there. But if you're coming out and you're saying, baby, I made a big mistake. I stepped out on our marriage. I stepped out on our relationship and I cheated on you. I think there's accountability, but then more so, what are the next steps afterwards? Are you is this a one-time thing? Or are you going to stop talking to her? Are there others? Are there going to be more in the future? Is this something that I have to continue to think about? What is the reason why? Like, there's no accountability. That's the thing, because when there's no accountability, how will you get up and say, what, it's my fault? You will never get up and say that because you never had to admit that you were wrong. You did something wrong, and and
I
you
mean,
you don't have to look at the face of the person that you say you love and tell them, "Hey, baby, I messed up."
from the get go, before you even going out there and do it, you know that that's something you should be doing.
That is true.
So if you
Okay,
did,
you can
So to
even
know
if
that
you
and still do it, then what kind of
yeah,
person does that make you?
it's just
the
the
thing is,
moment.
I feel
It's
like
just
you
the
can
moment that you're
still
in as a
love the
man.
person. You can still know the consequence of something and still ended up doing it. Because sometimes when you're in the
The
moment,
gamble.
it is.
So it's worth the gamble. That's the thing.
Hey, but the thing is, like, I'm a gambling man,
Is
so
it worth the gamble? if
Is
it
the
warrants the gamble.
it's not about being worth it.
It has to.
It's the thrill you get when you gamble. It's not about because some people, you know how many people gamble and still they lose every single day, but guess what?
They,
They still go and do it.
yeah, because that's an addiction. You can't compare gambling and cheating unless you have unless you have some kind of sex addiction. Now, if you have some kind of sex addiction, then we can talk gambling and sex and cheating all
But
day.
I feel like you can have a sex addiction and still not cheat.
So let me ask you this, Liz. Would you
You don't think
just
so?
just be honest with me, Liz? What would you do though? You went out and you came home. Your man is sitting on the couch watching TV, and he'd be like, "Hey, babe, I need to talk to you." And I just cheated.
Does the length of time matter?
No.
I think,
You got
I
it.
think it, I think it I think it matters
I
because
think it does.
if you're in it 2 months and they come and tell you that, does it really hold that much weight? Maybe, maybe
I,
not, because you're still
I
at the
would
beginning.
want to know right away.
You're still at the beginning stages, right? But then if you've been talking to this person for, and then if the person decides to leave, then they already know, like, okay, you're not too invested into what you guys built. The little bit that you did build in the 2, 3 months, there's not much there. But if you're in it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and the person cheats, it's like you said, you knew what you were getting yourself into, took the gamble anyway, and now you're coming and telling me that you fucked up. You know,
So what?
it's hard to say. You know, is this person my husband? You know, and again, what is the plan? If it's just a boyfriend, it all depends on what we built too. Did we build a life together? Do we have children? Do we have property? Do we have, you know? And then it makes you wonder, like, what are we gonna do? If it's just something that's really kind of clean, cut and dry, like, you know, you go your way, I'll go my way, because clearly you weren't thinking about me when you did what you did, or if you did think about me and you still did it, that just goes to show me how screwed up you are as a person. You know,
So
that to jeopardize it all and then still, but again, are we married? Are we just in a relationship, and how long?
so here's the thing. I know that happened a lot though. Like somebody been in a relationship for years, for even decades, and something like that happened, and then she decided to leave him. And this is the funny thing is a lot of time that happened, the woman most of the time ended up leaves. And the thing I just don't understand is the fact that sometimes they leaves and then they ended up with somebody even worse than what they had. It
Then
just like a
the woman
well,
needs to have more higher self worth. You know, she has to. I think she should work on probably being single. If you're choosing worse than what you had,
because the thing is that you don't know, right? Because you don't know what you're gonna get yourself into.
that's
Because
true. A
most of the
friend,
time,
my sister said, you know, it's Russian roulette. You never know what you're gonna get.
would you try to fix what you had and instead of leave?
Um, I can just tell you what I've went on based off past experience. Yeah,
Yeah, That's
but
that's the
when
thing that that's the thing that you can fix, but there's the thing that you can't fix.
yeah, but then you have to also understand the person. Like, do they want to change?
Yeah.
If they don't want to change, that's why I tell you the plan afterwards is like the most important. You know, it's like you live in a house that you built or that you grew up in, and you realize that the house is starting to crumble. You have to make that big decision. What's the plan? Are we going to try to fix it and, you know, keep it upright, or are we going to just leave it and try to get something new? Though it's the same thing. Like, that's why I equate a relationship to a house, because the trust is the foundation. You build on that. Your walls are your communication. The roof is like your love, and everything that you pour into it is all the things that matter the most to you and the people in it. That's like the way I compare a house and a relationship.
So you,
And you have to, it again, it all depends. What is the plan moving forward? Are we going to try to work this out, or you don't know what you want to do? And if the question is you don't know, then if you don't know, then I'll make the decision for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. But this is the fact that being with somebody for so long and you just decided to leave and you just don't know what you're gonna get yourself into and because
but Linus, that goes both ways.
That is true. And then, but the thing
yeah,
is,
but
like with men,
it's tougher for a woman, dude. Especially if you
Man,
already
the thing is,
if you're already
man.
having kids and it's different like the so here's the thing that you already build a chemistry, right? You already build something with that person and then just because one time that happened and you be like, you know what, I'm out.
But
but
to
is
be
it
honest
is
with
it?
you,
But that's the
Linus,
thing. Remember, I had asked you guys: is it a one and done, or is it something that's going to continue happening? Whether it's one and done with that girl and there's other girls, or is it a one and done? Is it really like you stepped out one time, you had an affair,
but
and
most
that's it? Or is
most
it
of the
something that's going to be ongoing, whether it's with the same person you had the initial affair with or multiple people afterwards?
most of the time for men, it's a one and done.
So you cheat one time with one girl and you never do it again.
Never do it again. Most of the time, that's what how it is for men.
Ever, like with anybody else.
Never. Most of the time, that's how it is for men.
Because there's no physical emotion attached to it.
At
It's just
all.
like
Most
one
of the
time
time.
thing. It's just like,
Okay, let's say a man is married, right? In a relationship, love his wife, love his kid. He ended up cheated. I guarantee you, 90 most of the time, that man will never do it again. If he does it,
Bullshit.
no, I'm telling you, most of the time, if he does it, trust me, if he does it, he doesn't love the person he's with.
But if you love your kids, you love your wife, you love your home, you love the life you have, why
It's
do
a
it?
one and done.
So what? It's like you saying it like, oh, let me just get one out. I'll be right back.
It's
Hold
not
on, wait
about
right
that.
there,
He
baby.
wasn't planning on
Let me
doing
go
it.
risk everything I have. And like you said, it's a 50-50 thing. You don't know if the person's gonna stay. And are you gonna risk all of that
It's
just
not
for people
about
to ask?
just
And then here's the thing, what if you do it and it's not even good? That's like a waste.
I mean,
it
we
is,
don't know until we try.
it
Yeah, but
is. But
so
the
what if
thing with men
but
is
even if it was even if
once we get it out, we're good.
but but but,
Men
but
most of the time men don't care. All we need is to get that release and then it's over with.
well, you can get a release from your wife. I can understand if she's not giving you any. Like I mean, it's not okay, but I can understand. So
So what you mean you can understand? So it's okay.
no, I didn't say it was okay. I said you can sometimes when you know where someone's coming from, then it's better to understand the behaviors that they have. That doesn't make the
Okay,
behaviors okay. That's like saying,
but it's understandable.
okay, I'll use the R. Kelly situation. R. Kelly was molested when he was younger at a young age. Does that make it okay that he's over here molesting younger
That's
women?
not the
No.
same thing. Come on, that's not the same thing.
But you understand. No, I'm not trying to talk about the
I
act.
don't.
I'm talking about the
I
form
don't.
of like
I don't. It's
I'm
a
talking
cycle.
about the form of understanding, not really the act. It's just the part of understanding. So if you have all of that good going on in your life, why would you go jeopardize it with something that is uncertain? You're
It
like
just
In Jamaica they have a saying like you're risking certainty for uncertainty.
it's just the moment.
What's certain is what you have though. Look at everything around you and what you've built and what you have. You'd really go jeopardize that for something that's questionable out on the street that you probably know nothing about for a release, for a one and done, and then you don't even know if it's good. What if it's bad? What if it is good? What if it is good though? What does that mean? You're gonna go back and do it again?
No, it's not like you looking to go back to do it again. It's just it's a one and done.
something
Okay.
just as
But
a man,
for a
by
woman,
just seeing
even
it and you
if
be
it
okay with
happened
it.
to be good, you know that woman is staying.
She's staying or the man is going to her? Because I know there were men who well, I don't know them. It's actually movies I've seen where the man will be in a relationship, married. Typically, he's working. The wife stays at home, cares for the children, the house, cooks dinner, and he's cheating on her with like somebody from work, because they spent, oh baby, I'm working late, oh baby, and it's like, or their assistant, or you know what I'm saying, things like that.
You know the funny thing is they make more movie of men cheating than women when it's actually the opposite in real life.
Y'all ain't shit though. Because
Isn't
you got
that
to get your
crazy?
one and done, right, Jeff? You got to get your one and done. One and
You
done.
have to.
You got to get
One
that
and
release,
done.
right? But here's the thing: women have releases too that we want, but you don't see it. Like if, like I know
Okay,
people right
but
now who are not.
for women to get it, they have to get emotionally involved. It's not
Not
just a
all the
physical.
not all the time. I'm
But
telling
most of
you.
the time, I get it. It's not all the time,
But
but
then a
most of
lot of
the time,
times men. But then what's so funny? Women get emotionally involved, but we have no problem cutting a man off. Whether you guys just do it for the physical act, but you have a hard time cutting the person off. You can't say
it's
it's a
not.
one
I
and
don't
done
think.
when you guys have. It's not one and done when you're saying like you have a hard time telling the person like, what are you gonna do? Put your clothes back on? Yeah, girl, that was a good time. Don't ever call my phone again.
Yeah, straight up.
No.
It was
Yeah,
nice knowing you.
hey,
Goodbye.
let me
You
tell you
just
something
said it's
about
a
men.
one and done. It's a one
It
and
is.
done. So, and you said you'll
Hey,
never do it again. What if she picks up the phone and calls you the next day?
You're not calling me.
so as a man, that you can just have a sex with somebody right now, and you'd be like, you know what, man, you need to go home. I just don't want to see you anymore. Like I'm done. Like we
But
have that on us. We this
women,
no
they
we
wanna cuddle.
yeah. They as a man, you can just put like
It's true,
something
Liz.
over your head and then do it. But woman is just different though. That's why if a woman cheat on you, there's no coming back from that. I'm out. You're on mute, Liz.
You mute.
I said I beg to differ. I was saying that most of the time when women cheat, it is emotional. But you can't speak for all when there are women too who um, want that physical too, especially if their partner is not satisfying them in bed. And then they'll go and get it from, you know, Big Dick Willie, and she'll get pleased, and then she's like, all right, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And she could sit there and say, I love my husband. I love this. I love that about him. I want to be with him. He's the only man I love. That I don't love anybody else. But most of the time, yeah, women do establish an emotional connection because I think that there are so many things that they're not getting in the relationship that they were either promised or told, and now that they're in it, they realize that this is not it. This is not what I want. I want something more. And somebody comes and offers more, and they're just like, hey, it seems like a lot when you're not getting it. So they run after it, jeopardizing everything that they have just for that opportunity. Whereas you just admitted men don't think about that. They don't think about what they're
No,
risking. They
I
just
feel
get up
like
and do
that
it.
goes both ways. I feel like
So
that goes
do
both
men
ways.
so when men do it, do they get emotionally attached?
Not that they get. I feel like men, just like you, a woman would go out and do it because of something they're not getting. I feel like men would go out there and do it too because of something they're not getting.
Well, you just said it was a one and done.
It is, even if it is, it's just it's easier for us to go and do it when there is something that is lack in the relationship.
Yeah, but if your girl or your wife doesn't have a fat ass and you see a girl walking on the street with a fat ass, does that mean because your wife is lacking a fat ass, it's okay to go fuck the girl that has one?
No, it's not. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that
It's not
it's okay
okay,
to
though.
cheat.
But
It's
she's
not okay.
lacking. You know what I'm saying? She's lacking the big naga. She's lacking.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Not because you or she is lacking of it, that doesn't make it okay for you to go and do it. But
But
it
y'all would
happened.
still but y'all
But
would still go do it though.
it happened. It's
But
not that
y'all
it's
would still go do
okay.
it.
It's not. It's not.
But
That
y'all
doesn't
would
make
still
it
go do it.
okay.
I know
You're
it
not
doesn't make it
listening.
okay. No, I know it
But
doesn't make it okay, but would you guys go do it? Because you just said you guys are physical beings, you're primal. Everything is about law of attraction. That's where it all starts from.
mhm.
No,
So if
it's
you
not.
see
Yeah,
There's
someone
no.
so if you see
I
someone that
wouldn't.
has what you
I
don't
wouldn't
have,
say love. It's just
I didn't
it's
say love. I said law. Law.
oh
LA
okay.
law
Yeah,
of
that's it.
Okay.
attraction. There's a law
Okay,
of attraction where you guys are, physical. You guys
but
like physical things.
but most of the time it's a lot. It's easier to get attracted to something when you're not getting it. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
lot easy.
But then back to the correction. If she's lacking and it's something that means that much to you that you're willing to jeopardize the relationship for, why don't you guys have that talk about maybe cosmetic surgery? But
What?
that's the thing. No,
See,
because
that's the
we're
thing. See, that's one thing I want you to understand. Not because I don't know for I can speak for myself. I don't know for leaders. I might like looking at people who are, have all those extras added, do all those done. I don't think I want one.
I don't. I don't either.
I might
It's
I
just
wouldn't
funny
even
though.
wanna if I'm being honest, I wouldn't even wanna sleep with one. I
I
don't mind looking at it.
I had that conversation with my girl about that. I said that. What do you think? Do you think men really, like BBL and stuff? She thought that. Oh, I thought That's what men want. I was like, no, you want for that because as a man, we're gonna look.
It's a
But
good
to have
show. To
one,
me it's a good
to,
show. But
to
not
me, it's
that's
like a
something we want.
display. This is a display. But to just look, I just look at it and say, but to just like marry or I wouldn't do that.
you know what's
Me,
That's
funny?
not.
I noticed
I
like
like to I like to slap the booty. I wouldn't wanna I will feel uncomfortable slapping something that might pop at any moment.
I
That's
get it.
very uncomfortable.
I get it. So here's the thing, like most men don't want what they look at.
No.
Most men don't. They don't settle down for the woman who has the big ass and the cosmetic surgery and the BBL and the facelift, the lip and most don't. They go for someone total opposite. Um, but sometimes that's the ones that get the attention.
So
I know a guy right now who was married to his wife. She went and got the whole, BBL, the whole thing, everything. She looked great. And guess what? He was still cheating on her. Paid for the whole procedure and everything. She went through all that pain, almost died, and still ended up cheating. And they're not even together now. I think they're going through like a real nasty divorce right now. But it's just the simple fact that even though she did all that, it still wasn't enough.
because that's not what
We
men look
the
for
thing
though.
is us men we like the how do I say it? We
But that's the
like
thing. He wanted her to get it, and she did it. She did it for her husband
that he did.
to make him
Nah,
happy.
I think she wanted. She
She
wanted
probably
because I
wanted
don't.
it. She probably wanted it too because she realized, like, hey, I don't like my husband looking at other women, and they talked about it, and yeah, it got done, and he's still.
Me, if looking is an issue, I'm always gonna be in trouble because I have to look. If it looks good, I'm gonna be looking.
I mean, I don't think there's any
I'm
issue
not
with
gonna
guys.
have any
Like,
intention of doing
No, I mean that's who we are
anything
as
to
human
it, but
beings.
it's just
There's that attraction thing, but it's when you act on the look that becomes the problem.
do you woman
You can look all day.
is a woman look at as mental or just like you guys look
Yeah,
at
of
yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah.
Of course. Of course.
They do it more than we do.
I wouldn't
No,
be okay.
I think we talk about it more than see you guys, the thing is with like us women, not saying I can't speak for all. I can say that just like men look, women look too. But we don't always act on what we see. But women nowadays they're getting more bold now too. They're getting more like, oh hey. And if you're weak or you're on the fence, it takes that one look to turn into a hey, which turns into a hi, hello, what's your name? Let me get your number. I think you're great. Oh, you're with your friends? Okay. Blah blah blah. Let's meet up. And then it leads to something else. But yeah, women look too. I don't know about. I'm not a married woman, so I can't
M-
speak on that.
Me, I have a bad habit which I'm trying to change. I'm the type to even be like, "Hey, you look good. You this, you that." The second she's like, "Oh, you want my number?" Nah, I'm good. I got a wife. Or nah, I'm good. Like I don't know why. I just like seeing the disappointment in their face where you're like, when you lead them onto it just to break it down.
Oh shit!
Just to, no, it's just I don't know. It's just there is just something to it. It's just hey, oh, you so nice, you this, you that. And the second she's expecting you to ask for the number, you're like, I'm good. I got that. No, it's just to me, it's funny.
No, that's not funny though. She already. I don't think it's funny
Oh
for her.
god, Jeff, you started.
Huh? What'd you say?
I said you're something else. That's pretty funny.
No, like, cause sometimes I feel like women don't really respect people's relationship. If we're being honest,
They
women
what?
don't. Women doesn't respect people's relationship.
Don't respect what?
Women doesn't respect people's relationship.
Um, I don't. Again, I think it all depends. You can't take a couple experiences and like generalize like the whole gender
Okay,
because there are some. You'll see more of that. Like you'll see more
mhm.
negativity on, wine mainstream media than you'll see good. Nobody really talks about the good. Nobody really advertises and promotes the good. They always talk about the bad because that feeds the narrative that they're trying to push. Like someone like me, I've turned down multiple guys who were in relationships, and I'm like, no, because I don't want someone doing that to me. But does it happen? Maybe, possibly, but I'm not into that.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
get that. I get that.
and that,
But
but it all depends on the person. It all boils down to the person. But I don't engage in. I don't. No, I don't like to share, and I'm not sharing anybody.
I
So
understand.
so it's one of those things. Like if you're talking to someone or you belong to someone else, I'm not talking to you. Again, communication. Again,
Yeah, but I feel like when it comes to women, I feel like women are more attracted to men who are in relationships.
I get it. I get it. But to summarize up my piece, I think cheating has multiple layers. It's not just the act. There are emotional ties, physical ties. There's betrayal, trust. There's so many things that you jeopardize for a max an hour of pleasure, and then
Nah, I will go for more like a good 20 minutes.
okay, 20 minutes then. A good 20 minutes, 30 minutes,
if
40 minutes. But
if
it's like
it's good, a good 10 minutes.
you're risking minutes, for something that was built that took years to build, and seconds, minutes, hours to just demolish. It's overall.
But
I don't think
it's
it's worth it. Um,
that's what
and
life is all about. So there's something you can spend years and build within a quick second, and you lose everything.
yeah,
This is life.
That's life.
that is life. But sometimes with life it's uncontrollable. But that's one thing that we both men and women can control. When you think
Uh,
about it, you
I
can
disagree.
control it. You can
I mean,
practice
you
self
can.
restraint, and then maybe think about the forefront, not just the right now. Think about what you're willing to lose versus what is there to gain. You know what I'm saying? And if you feel like you could do that, then why don't you entertain maybe a threesome or something? I don't know, because if you just want to do something, maybe that's something you're.
Sound like a good idea.
What? Why not? I mean, threesome or even be swingers.
I
That
don't
could be
know
like,
about that.
oh, baby, let's spice up our relationship. So it's just one of those things. Like if it's a one and done, I think, and it's like one and done for real, like you'll never do it again ever with anybody. then I can sit there and say like, you know what? That's a crack in the foundation that we can probably repair.
Yeah, especially if the person have a good
Aggression.
explanation.
Yeah, but with every
So,
aggression that comes, it's like you're
so
forming new cracks. And
Lee, let me ask you this though: would you be okay if your partner come up to you, be like, "Hey, what do you think if we, you know, add somebody in?"
no, I'm like, damn, what am I not doing? But then that's the conversation that I'll say like,
But at the same
What
time,
about what about if
it's
he's the
not
one
even
that like?
about something you're not doing. It might be because of something you're doing.
but if I'm doing it and I'm doing it well, then why you want to bring someone else in it? You want me
Like
to
I'm
show
talking about
show the next guy how good it is?
I'm
Not
talking about
guy,
to bring
hell no,
another
not guy.
not the
Who?
woman,
Why
not the
would you want to
woman,
bring
not the
another
female.
Why, why we can't, why it have to be two women and not two men?
No,
Would you be okay with
no,
two men?
no.
Same thing you could do with two girls.
Mm-mm. I would not be okay with that.
No, I don't want
Hell
that.
no.
You
What
see
you
the
think
double
this is?
standard. The double
What you
standard. It
think
could
this
be
is?
two,
It's
but
not.
it can be two men.
It's
No.
just logic. It's not a double standard. It's just logic.
But here's
You
the reason
know,
why I said
there
that
is
though, because
not
So
enough.
why
why?
is it that okay? If it's logic, tell me
There
why.
can be no, no,
Why is
no.
it physiologically? Why do women have two holes down there and a man only has one?
There can be.
Physiologically.
The thing is, what you need to understand. There can be too much ego in one bedroom. It just doesn't. It doesn't work that way. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't,
Okay.
and it's the
So
truth.
so you would be okay to having a second man, not a second woman.
I'm not really down for that. If I gotta do it with a second guy, I'm just like, listen, it ain't for me to want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. That's the thing, and that's not my thing. But for me to want to do that, I would just leave. If it's really on my mind that much, then that means the person that I'm laying with doesn't mean that much to me. That I'm
And
willing
the
to
thing is,
have them watch me get penetrated by somebody else.
the thing is, I feel like if a man really want to be his woman to be with another woman while he's in
I'm
there,
here. I'm just gonna
I feel
mute
like
my
he's low key gay.
hello. You don't figure? I mean, I get it, but I just think that I just think it's kind of like cheating. It's kind of just
No.
cheating.
But cheating is when you unknowingly doing your partner is you doing something and your partner doesn't know about it.
Mhm. But then they're gonna know about it when you tell them that you did it, right?
No, 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 no. If they okay, basically the way you say it is like it's like you said being in an open relationship is cheating. That's not cheating.
No, I didn't say being in an open relationship is cheating. I'm saying if you're gonna do all of that and not be happy in a relationship, you're better off just looking into a patient.
Yeah.
So Liz, let me ask you this: if your partner asks you for a free pass, would you give him that?
A free pass to where? Well,
To Jamaica.
I'm going too. I'm going
No.
too. I mean, this is my thing. Like when you enter a relationship, like it's just like certain things. You have to leave certain things behind. There's certain like they always say, like when you become a man, you leave childish things behind. At what point are you gonna say like, okay, I've had all the ass I can get. I'm ready to settle down now. I'm ready to just be a one woman man. You shouldn't have to put somebody through something because you're not ready to settle down. You better off just be single then. Build the life that you have your kids, have your house, and just not settle down with anybody then. If you're gonna do all of that, if you're gonna risk it, what then just be by yourself.
Yeah, but what if I want to have my cake and eat it too?
Well then be single. Because that's probably what's gonna happen. That's probably what's gonna end up happening. And then you end up and then it's funny because you talk about men, I mean women, sometimes men leave women thinking that it's all good, and then they end up with somebody worse. It's not always the woman,
I mean, that happened both ways, though.
Yeah, but it's not always the men either.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not always the woman who downgrades.
Downgrade.
Yeah, it's not an upgrade; it's a downgrade. If you're talking to somebody, you cheat. That's the thing. You cheat. You cheated. You lost a good one. He's not gonna find somebody less than you. He's gonna probably find someone better than you because you're the one who fucked up.
But
Yeah.
don't you think it's easier for men to find a good woman than a woman to find a good man?
Um, Probably. I feel like that is the case. I agree.
No, I disagree. I feel like
You think,
it's
you think
the
it's
other way around.
you think it's easier for a woman to find a good guy?
Yeah, than a
Shit,
woman, than a guy to find a good man.
shit. Okay, Jeff.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm a really good man, and I don't think there's that many out there like me.
That's what I just said. You said there's good guys out there, and I said where?
That's what I'm saying. It's just
Hey, she said where? Where are they?
I
She
remember I
wants.
went to I remember I went to Jepson a while ago, and I said, "Hey, find me a husband." That man came back empty-handed. Okay,
okay,
Oh,
but
she.
empty-handed,
the way you
and
said it, it's like
said,
the way I feel like you think it is out there. You think I can just walk into the mall and be like, "Hey, you a good man, come with me." It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there's not a good man out there that I know of.
"There's not one."
I was the last one.
No, there's more.
Nah, I was the last one, man.
Liz,
Yeah,
what happened to you? What happened
Luna,
to your camera?
where are they?
What happened to your camera?
I put it down. I couldn't hold it. I had something else to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
They're out there.
yeah. Where? Tell me.
But you just mentioned that you had somebody now, so
I
Yeah,
just asked.
remember, without condom cheating.
Right. We don't condone cheating. We don't condone. Let me ask you guys something. I have a question. It's not related. Well, it kind of is related to cheating, right? It's when you guys met your partner. When you met your partner, did you come out and say, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" Or we're together now. We're an item. We're something. We're dating. It's me and you, and you can't talk to anybody else. Did you come out and ask them to be your girlfriend before
I
you
think I
guys
did.
got to the level where you are now?
I think I did.
I did that.
Because
So
my
Jeff, you
issue
went to
is,
your spouse and asked your spouse to be your woman, and Lunez, you went to your spouse and asked them to be your
because
woman.
the way I feel like, if I remember correctly, mine was more like, hey, I'm done playing around. I'm not out there like that anymore. I need somebody, I'm looking for something serious. And I feel like that's how I think mine went.
You said that. So just
Yeah.
because you said you're ready, you're done to play around. Does that?
Yeah, I'm done messing around. I'm not in the streets anymore. Because I used to be there.
Okay, that's a lie.
And she know when I was in the streets.
she knows.
Yeah, like, yeah, my past is nothing to, I wasn't hiding from it. I was
Lunez,
proud
what
of what.
about you, Lunez? What about you?
Um,
Did you come out and ask your partner, "Hey, I want you to be mine"?
yeah, I mean that's why we're here.
So you came out and said, "Will you be my girlfriend?"
Not just being my girlfriend. We went out, we talked, and you know,
No,
here we are.
mhm. Really?
Yeah,
So if I ask both of your spouses that, that's what they'll say.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what she does. What I see.
Okay.
Because I when I and because I remember I was still back then I was driving trucks. And I remember I was on the phone and I'm like, hey, like I'm looking for something real. I'm done. Cause she know when I used to be out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I was, cause I'm not gonna lie, I had a little roster
You
for
had
when I
hoes.
come home.
Damn. You had husbands.
So, huh?
You had husband hoes.
I had a few.
Okay.
So I had to, I thought I was done with that, in which I was, cause I really was over it, cause I was out there for especially the past. I would say the past before I started that relationship, the past three, 3.5 years before that, especially before like because I was in a serious relationship, and then that ended, and then the time spent between those two relationships, it was a while, a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I told her I was ready for something real, in which I was, and those it's because I, even though I joke around sometimes, I don't like to go back on my word, especially if I said something and I really mean it. And I can say it's because of some of those words that I said when I say I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to go back on those words. That's why most of the time I had opportunity where I could have cheat, do something I shouldn't be doing. And it's because of those words that I don't go back and do it.
Right.
Because there's people I've met, women who actually I told them, hey, I'm in a relationship, I have a kid, I'm this, I'm that. They literally I told them that all the time. He's seen it too. And I told them, hey, I'm in a relationship, I'm good. They literally look me dead in my eyes, say they don't care. They won't say nothing if I don't say nothing.
Your God, do you feel him?
And I know people and I know girls who know her, who
Yeah.
wouldn't who wouldn't care.
Right. Which is those are the women who
And
I was telling you
and
who
I
it's just
I
what they
have
think.
a friend of mine. She was doing a little get together like a few weeks ago. She said she called me, she's like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I would have invite you, but I know how you are and I know how those girls are. I don't want to put you in that position. Which because of that, I told her like I really do appreciate that because she value what I have. She didn't want to put me in a position because she know how those girls would have get. And she told me straight up, like, hey, the only reason why I didn't invite you, the only reason why I'm not inviting you is because I know how they are and I know how they're gonna get once they start drinking. And I know how you are. I don't want to put you in that position. Even though she told me, she's like, I know you're not gonna try to do anything, but I know they will try. And she's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna try to put you in that position for that reason. That's why I'm not even gonna invite you. And I'm like, yeah, I really appreciate that you value what I have. And she's a girl. A friend like that, I value that relationship with her. Is because you know what I mean. Like you can see, like she understands what I'm trying to build. She understands what I have, and as a friend, she won't try to put me in a position to jeopardize what I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty dope, dude. That's pretty cool.
I mean, but
People
you
like
have to be with like minded people. You have to be with people who respect you.
yeah, that's true.
You have to be with people who respect that and you have to be surrounded by that. Because if you don't stand on the same morals and values, you're gonna have that one friend that, oh, she doesn't need to know. She doesn't need to know. What she doesn't know
And
won't hurt her.
even though she's not close to do it like that,
Hmm.
if she find out I cheated, she's the type of because I will say she care about me so much. She probably will call him and be like, "Hey, here's what he's doing. Can you try to stop it? Here's what he's about to do." You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes I feel like, sometimes I used to argue with her. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a real friend. Why would you call my girl and tell her that I'm about to do something stupid? She's like, no, I'm trying to protect you from the long run.
Yeah.
Like I used to see, I'd be like, yo, like that doesn't sound like you being a good friend. Like you should cover for me.
Like
She's like, no, I'm not
she's
gonna
being a
cover
great
for you if
friend.
you're doing so. What is it?
She's
She's
doing you
not
a
being a
favor,
good
bro.
friend, she's being a great friend.
Yeah, I guess, but still, a great friend to
Nah,
to
man.
who? To me or to her?
Oh, period. A great friend wouldn't watch you throw away something great for something that is uncertain.
I get it, but you're not.
You
That
should say
doesn't give you
thank
the
you,
right
man.
to switch me out.
Mhm.
No, no, no. When I sit back, I understand what she's trying to do. I get it. Because to be honest with you, she's probably one of a few. I would say I can say of a few girls, right, that I wouldn't mind, hang out with. I don't care what time of day it is. If it's just me and her, I know because she actually value what I have. You know what I mean?
That's good. Though.
She wouldn't put me in. I know multiple times she's having a little get together. She doesn't. She told me straight up she don't want to invite me because she know how. And
Is
those
she
girls,
single?
huh?
Is she single?
I think so. From what I know, yeah. But still, it's just
No, the only reason I ask is because someone of that moral character, someone who should be, you know,
No, I would say she's kind of like out there when I say that because she's living her life as a single woman.
I
But
got
me and her, we have like I would say we have like a brother and sister relationship.
okay,
Like we close. There are things she know about me that I would say even my own blood sister doesn't know in a way. You know what I mean? When I
Yeah,
was
but you,
single, she used to hook me up with people. You know what I mean? So we
right.
have that level, like our relationship. And when there's one of the guys she dated, she bred it before they actually got together. She had me, talk to him. She asked me, "Do you like him? Do you feel like you know what I mean? Like things like that." So we have that kind of relationship. Like it's not like if she were to take somebody serious, she'll ask me, "Hey, what do you think? Do you feel like he's a good guy?" You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but
Okay.
it's just those things. I feel like you need somebody. I feel like everybody should have someone like that in your life because there are things you might not be willing to tell your girl, and that one friend who see what you're trying to build, they might steer you to in the right direction, even if you wasn't the person who were to go and do something stupid in the first place. But sometimes I feel like everybody need that that little guidance.
That is true. Now, to, to talk on, now, the ones getting caught, why do you think statistically men get caught if it is a one and done?
Because we dumb, we don't do things we don't do things how do I say it? We don't know how to hide it, to be honest with you. We're not good at hiding stuff because it's really not in our nature. Don't get me wrong, some men are cheaters. It is what it is. But for the most part, most men, we don't know how to hide something like that. But women, you guys are more easy. It's easier for you guys to hide it. Like I told you earlier, I feel like, let's say, the second you catch your woman cheating, especially if it's not her who come out and tell you. If you catch her cheating, at this point, it's because the only reason why you catch her, she probably been doing it for years. The only reason why you
oh
catch
yeah,
her
but
is because
yeah, but
she doesn't care anymore. It's like, okay, you know what? He find out, who cares? Even if she says sorry or that extra crap, no, she don't
by
care.
the time you caught a woman cheating, man, she's doing it for years, man.
Years. And
Hmm.
Cause the first day, I'll get caught. Not
me,
like cheating, probably just talk. Probably just talk. I'll get caught in the first day.
Hmm.
First day.
because you're not a good cheater. You need to learn. Be better. I'm playing.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
just it's not in your nature.
I'll get cut the first day.
Hmm. That's why you got to know your partner too. It's important to know your partner.
But the thing is with men, like that's what I'm saying. Like even for us, even if you know the person, I feel like she can still be doing it and you won't know.
Awesome.
But a woman, she'll know.
I know this couple, right? And they have kid. They've been together for years, and but the woman, she's the problem, but she's the one that's doing all this dirty deed. And but she's the one that always mad, be mad. Every time she wanna go out there and do her dirty shit, and she get pissed off. And the reason why she get mad, she be mad at him for no reason, just because she wanna have the space for her to go out there and do her thing, pretending like she's pissed off about something, some
That's
random
women.
shit, and go out there and do her dirty deed, and then for that dude, and he be calling her, and then he thinks that she's not innocent just because she's mad.
Hmm.
You
I
see,
mean, but then men, they don't want to create any. They don't want to create any tension at home because they have to come. A man wants a peaceful home. That's what he. That's what. Let's be honest. At the end of the
Yep.
day, that's what a man wants. He
We
doesn't want.
love peace.
Doesn't want to hear about what's not working. He doesn't want to hear about this. He doesn't want to hear about that. He wants peace when he comes home. And if he's not getting that, he might go somewhere where he can have that, where he can feel like a man and not feel like, oh, well, you need to help me do this. You need to help me do that. You need to, blah, 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 blah. But then at the same time, a woman will create chaos in her home so that she can go out and get peace because she doesn't get it at home. So you see how the tables kind of twist? How you said the woman would go and, create a fight in order so that she can go step out and cheat, whereas the man wants to come home to a peaceful house.
Yeah, me, you don't need to do all that. You wanna go out there, do your thing, just go out there, do your thing. You don't need to disturb my peace to go and do it. At the end of the day, I'm very, I wouldn't say careless. It's more like I'm not gonna let you try to do your thing. I'm not gonna, I don't like being bothered.
yeah,
That's
you
Right.
not
know
me,
how
man.
you know how wild that shit is, man. Like knowing that you doing that's doing your dirty stuff, and then pretending like you the perfect one, and then it's just messed up, man.
Yeah. They want the company to feel like that.
But I don't know. This one thing I'm not gonna tolerate, like if a woman cheating and things, I'm gonna take you back. If I don't know anything, I'm sticking around. I don't know. Like I'm just gonna be like acting like I don't know nothing. But the day that I find out, it's the end of it.
But here's the thing though. Why is it that if you find out it's the end, but you're the same one who says if she doesn't ask, you won't tell?
I won. Like that's the thing.
Me,
That's the thing that like I said. Let's just say she's doing it. I don't know anything. I'm good.
Would you want her to stay with you if you were honest and say, yes, baby, I did cheat on you? Would you want her to stay or you're okay with her leaving?
That's not up to me.
I know, but what would you
would you
like?
stay with her? Would you stay with her? Let's say if she say, "Hey, I'll take you back," would you be like, "Okay, take me back," or would you be like, "Well, if you did it, I wouldn't stay, so you shouldn't stay either."
I mean, that's like I said. This is it's gonna be up to her.
So you think it's okay for her to stay with you?
I can't answer that.
Would you want her to? It's not about like what
Yeah.
she is gonna do, but if you
Hey,
came out and said, "Hey, baby, did you cheat on me?" and you say, "Yes, I did. I'm sorry." Would you want her to stay with you? I know
yeah, if,
the decision is ultimately hers, but would you want her to stay?
but in order for me to go out there and do that, that probably my feeling for her probably would change probably before that. And once that happened, if she asks, I'll be like, if you wanna leave, you can go ahead and leave.
So you're
But
okay with her
that's
leaving?
that's the thing. If I don't feel you, like you leave, that's fine. I mean, if that's what you want, and then because the thing is the thing though,
It's not
prior to
that
that,
what you want. You're the one who went out there and cheat.
but that's the thing. Like I said, like the before prior to that, you gotta understand. If I decided to go out there cheat, it's basically that the feeling I had, the feeling changed.
So
I just don't feel the same.
you would only cheat if you're not feeling the person you with.
Yeah, if things change at home, I'm not getting there at home. or things not the same that it used to, and then something like that happen. Like I said, it's just like it's just that prior to that, I kind of feel different. If I'm well, I'm just kind of ready for the result, whatever's gonna come out of it. I'm ready to take it.
So
If she
you're
decides,
okay either way if she stays or not.
I'm completely fine with it. But here's the thing, though. Um, it's just like it's pretty tough, man. To be honest with you, because I just don't. Because the way I am right now with my relationship, I'm happy. I'm good. If I were in a situation where things like that happen, and like I said, it just prior to that going out there and cheat, I mean, probably already over it. That's the reason why right now I'm
Um,
good. I'm happy,
the
and
way the way you talking right now, you sound like the type of nigga to cry if you got cheated on.
if
You will
what?
cry. You will
Damn.
cry if you got cheated on. Look at you.
Um, I don't think I
Man,
would
you will cry
cry,
like a
but
little baby. You about to cry right now.
no,
Just
I'm
thinking
talking about.
about her cheat.
I'm speaking for myself, dog. I'm just speaking for myself.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Now
saying.
you asked me a question about myself, not about her.
Yeah,
But
but I'm
if
saying still, if she cheat, would you cry?
that would hurt me, but I won't cry.
You would cry. You would cry. It's okay.
No,
Men cry too.
I know men cry, but that ain't gonna happen to me though.
Sure.
That's not gonna happen. But I don't know, man. This is a really tough decision. I mean, it depends how deep you are in a relationship.
Or how deep you were inside of that girl you cheated with.
No, it's just how deep you are in a relationship to just like decided to leave.
Mm.
Um, I don't know, man. It just tough out there, man. Like regardless what you do for a woman, if she decided to leave you or do some dirty stuff, regardless what you do, man, she's gonna do it.
To be honest with you, I'm the kind of person you wanna leave. I'll help. I'll sing for you. Na 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 na. Hey hey. Goodbye. I. Well, I'm in the space where I. It's not like I won't feel bad. Of course, it will hurt, but it's I don't see me doing, oh my God, why would you leave me? No, I ain't got that kind of time no more. I don't have the time or the energy to be doing that for anybody anymore. Would it hurt? Yeah, but at the same time, man, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I guess it's just something that you have to keep our eyes open. If it's gonna happen, it's
Keep
gonna
my eyes
happen.
open. No,
Yeah,
my eyes. I'll close my eyes.
you're
I'll
right.
close my.
All right, guys, it's been 2 hours since we've been on. So I'm gonna close the live video. I think we might have to have a little conversation before we. You guys good?
Yep.
How you feel, Liz?
All right, Liz, stick around. I'm
Um,
gonna stick around. I'm gonna cut off the live and then we can have a little conversation.
okay.
Can I see your face now?
Sure. Hold on. I'm heading home, but yeah, I'm leaving the studio.
You getting home already? Oh, yeah, it's getting late. So
Still
set us home. I'm gonna leave it there.
working.
Oh, you home?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you were home. No, I'm about to
She's
say.
leaving the studio. She just said she's leaving the studio right now.
Buddha's
Why
don't
you
listen. I wonder if he was listening to anything I said today.
why
Right?
you leaving us? I mean, I'm glad that you come through that. Cause I don't,
No, but
cause
it's making it a little bit easier having a woman's perspective on a few things. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. And
making it a
also
little
like
easier.
for me, I try to look at I don't try to like go just for the women. It's all about like right is right, wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter if it's one of my own who did it, one of my friends, like you're wrong. Wrong is wrong. Whether it's a guy, a girl, myself, but that's where that accountability comes in. And I think that's important. And you gotta do a lot of introspection, like looking within yourself and saying, why, if it's something that happens all the time, why am I doing this? You know, what am I craving? What am I missing? What do I need? Or what do I feel like I need in order to feel good about what I'm doing? So I think I can kind of give a, roundabout, but yeah, so it's good.
So, what do you rank yourself to as a woman?
Hmm?
What do you rank yourself out of 1 to 10?
What do I rate myself
Yeah,
as far as like what?
like
As a whole,
as
let's
a
say
whole,
as
like
a woman, as a wife. Let's say a man's looking for a wife. Let's say somebody walk up to you like you like him, he likes you, and he wanna wife you up. As a complete, as a whole,
Hmm.
where would you put yourself in that spectrum? Like 1 to 10.
Like 10, I'm ready to be a wife. 0, I'm not.
Yeah, 10 as
Um,
and you feel like you can cook, clean, do all that, take care of him, take care of the household, take care of your kids, be a good wife. If like the whole package, where would you say you are from
um,
good to bad?
I would say like, okay, to grade myself fairly, I would say I'm anywhere from like a 8 to a 9. I won't sit here and say like I'm a 10 because you
Why would
said cooking. Now, people have different tastes. If he likes the food a certain way, then I would have to adjust to that. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that he's happy. Everything else, I think I'm pretty solid in those other areas, but that's where the communication comes in. If he doesn't like something that I do, okay, we could change that. I feel like I'm a good communicator. Um, Cook, yeah. I mean, I'm not as good as certain people, but I know I can hold it. I can hold my own just a little bit. But if there's something that he likes that he wants done differently, I'm open to that. Cook, clean. Well, I'm very clean. I love to clean. Um, what else? Take care of my kids. Honestly, I do. I've done that since they've been born. I was never really the type to be like promiscuous. I was never really the type to be outside. I was always like a homebody, and I always wanted stability because my mom, she she raised me in that. So anything I'm looking for, it has to be something like that. Um, I'm ambitious. I have goals. It's a team effort. Yeah. So I think, so I would say like if there was any place that I was probably lacking, I would probably say maybe being somewhat submissive and like the cooking. I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm Gordon Ramsay, but if a man likes it a certain way and he tells me, hey baby, I like when you do this over this, or can you try this over that? I'm like, okay, I'm always willing to learn. So, but yeah, I always want to settle down. It was never really my goal
you
to.
do you complain a lot?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, I ask a lot of questions. I don't complain. I do ask a lot of questions though. So like,
When
like
when you
why? Like I ask a lot of why questions,
mm,
and it's
when
not why because I'm questioning the reason, but again to understand the person.
when
So
you're in a relationship, do you feel like you were, how do I say that, or you do you like conflict? Because I know women who they won't go too long without starting an argument.
no, no. To answer the question, no, I don't really complain a lot. I ask a lot of questions. Like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't And these are just things that I observe because let's just say, um, you're not there for me, or I don't know. I'm trying to think. Trying to think of a reason. But like it could be like, hey, if like for example, I'll give you an example. Let's just say I'm living with the person and they come home, I'm taking care of the kids and there's dishes in the sink and instead of washing the dishes, they go in the room, take a shower and lay down. I would go and ask, hey, you saw dishes in the sink, why didn't you clean them? I was taking care of the kids, I was putting them to bed. Why didn't you do it? Now if he gets up and says, Dave, honestly I didn't feel like doing it, I could be like, okay, well, why not? Were you tired from work? There's a reason why. Now if you get up and say, oh baby, that's your job, then it'd be like, really? That's something different. But I just like, again, it's a team effort, you know.
So speaking of that, what do you think is men's duty in the house? What do you think men's job
Yeah,
is when it
that's
comes
something
to?
me and Linus was going back and forth on
Honest.
last night. Like
Like,
we were,
I'll be honest. The way I
Let
look
me
at,
think it. What is it? What is it like if a woman is expecting men to do at the house? Right.
you know, it's hard to say. I'm gonna tell you this. It's hard to say for me because right now I'm in a position where I do everything. Like on Friday, I was trimming hedges outside my front yard and my backyard. Like some people feel like, oh, a man is supposed to do that. But when there's no man present, it's like, okay, well, who's gonna do it? I would have to do it. Um, but I still have to be the same one to go in the house and do the laundry, take care of the kids, do all those kind of things. Now, if a man steps into that role and it's like, oh, baby, I got it, then I get to pull back from doing all those things that he feels a man should be doing. And I can go lean into more into my womanly, motherly, wifely role. I don't want to sit there and say that there are roles, but I feel like a man should be a person's partner. If we want to go back to biblical times, you know, the wife was created to be the helper. She was to take care of the home, and the man was to take care of the family, financially provide and for his family while the wife does everything else. Now, that has to come with a level of trust. You have to trust that your partner is going in and taking care of the family and providing for them and blah, 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 blah. And then the woman can focus on taking care of the children. And maybe she wouldn't need to work if she doesn't need to work unless she wants to. But I don't really think there's roles. It's just, you know, like I know someone right now, she's not a good cook, but her husband is a great cook. So he cooks more often than she does. So it all depends on where that balance is. And if the person is like, oh baby, I like your cooking and he really means it, then okay, I can, but I don't know. It's a cultural thing too, because like if you look into American society wants, everything to be 50-50, 50-50, 50-50. But then
Do
you
you
have people.
do you believe on that though?
mm, I don't know. It's I don't know because I don't know what's out there. I really truly don't know what's out there. If a man wants to come and like, baby, I'll provide for you, and he stands on it, then that's what he wants. We would have a discussion about that. I wouldn't just jump in and say, okay, well, here's all this. Can you handle it? No, we would talk like, okay, how do you want me to contribute? Do you want me to contribute to the household financially? Do you want me to contribute to the house, cooking and shopping and cleaning and this and that? Like, what kind of role do you want me to play? And then we can go back and forth, exchange ideas. And then if you come and tell me, hey, this is how I want you, then that shouldn't be able to be an issue either. But I'm open. But what I don't want is I don't want to do what I'm doing right now. I don't want to do it all. I don't want to be cooking and cleaning and washing clothes, taking care of the kids, and then doing yard work either. And paying all the bills on my own. And that I don't want to be with someone and still do everything that I'm doing right now. I don't want to be
Understand?
100. I don't want to be 100% of everything right now. And there's a fully able-bodied person sitting or living next to me who can do it, but chooses not to. So, like culturally, I know like a lot of the Caribbean or the people from the islands, they want the woman to stay home, and taking care of the kids and
do
popping out babies. And
let's say let's say the man is capable of doing all that. Do you feel like that there's something wrong with that? Would you, let's say you met a man, he's a good man, He can pay all the bill, do the yard work. All he wants you to do is stay home, cook, clean, take care of the kids. You ain't got to worry about nothing. You need to get your hair done, nails. He can cover all that. All you have to do is be a housewife, taking care of the kids, clean, cook, make sure when he comes home the house is clean. Would you be okay with that?
Um, yeah, I would. However, the only reason I say however is because when or if the man leaves or if he mistreats me in any way, it's almost like it'll be harder for me to leave because I don't have anything to stand for myself.
No, there
Now,
is
if
no mistreatment.
oh, well, then, yeah, why not? Why would that be? Why would that be a bad thing? No.
Do you think why do? Because I've actually asked like she was younger, she was like 25. I asked her that question. She think that's being a maid, even if she's with that person.
Well, you put title when that's the thing. People put titles on things, and that's when things get a little
Hmm.
fishy. You're doing your contribution. I've done it, and I mean, I don't have any problem with it. But I know a lot of people from the islands. They have that kind of mindset where the woman stays home and takes care of the family and the home, and the man goes out and provides. Um, the only thing would be, God forbid, that man gets hurt and is unable to provide. Then the roles would probably change. The woman would now have to be the provider, and then she may not be able to provide the same lifestyle that she was accustomed to or that he was able to provide for her.
Hmm.
And would the other person or would the man be okay with the roles changing? What if he now has to be the the quote unquote maid? What if he has to take care of the kids and do the laundry and cook because he physically cannot because of accident or something happening in his place? So it's important. I think it's important for the people or the couple to talk about those things first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Guys, we're gonna cut it off here. I'm gonna cut the live, and I guess we're gonna have to talk a little bit about before you leave, Liz. We need to have a little talk with you if you don't mind for like 5 minutes. What do you
okay,
think, Gibson? What do you think, Gibson?
Yeah, cut it.
bye.
No,
Adios.
no, don't go anywhere.
I know. I'm saying.